What's up, this is GM, and before I start, I want to tell you about TubeBuddy. In case you don't know, TubeBuddy is a free website that will help you manage and grow your YouTube channel. Thanks to them, some of my videos even show up as top results. Want to give them a try? Check the description below for the link.
Today's product is E-YOOSO's X-11 wireless gaming mouse. So in the box we have the mouse itself, we have a charging cable which is 6 feet and it is braided, and it is a USB to USB-C cable, and we have a manual which is in English and in Chinese. So I want to say a quick thing. I know this is labeled as a wireless gaming mouse, but it also works wired, so keep that in mind if you prefer to play with a wired mouse. It kind of has that optimum use factor since you can use it wireless and wired. So I'll start by going over some general info and going into my thoughts in it with a final pros and cons list. So the mouse is both wired and wireless, as I already mentioned. It has a 35-hour battery life when you have the RGB lights on. It has 70 hours with the RGB lights off on a single full charge. It has 4,000 adjustable DPI, 15G acceleration, high precision sensor, perfect for gaming, 4 lighting effects, 10 brightness levels, 9 programmable buttons, anti-skid scroll wheel, Teflon pads on the bottom, works on Windows, Macs, Chromebook, etc. It has a driver, which I will link below. It works on Windows. I'm not too sure about any other devices. I don't think it works on Macs, but don't quote me on that. If you happen to know, if you have any personal experience on that, please let us know in the comments below. With the driver, you can also change the scrolling speed, double click speed, as well as USB polling rate, and you can actually change the polling rate with one of the buttons as well. It weighs about 7.1 ounces, and I'm going to go ahead and just show you the wire real quick just so you can get an idea. You know, it is, like I said, just a USB-C to USB. I'll go ahead and move these things out of the way so that way we can just focus on the mouse itself. And here we go. Here is our wonderful looking mouse. Personally, I think this is probably one of the best mice I've gotten to use. I love the weight of it. It is a little heavier than the one I'm currently using, and I personally like to use slightly heavier mice. So let's go ahead and just take a good look at it. So of course we have the left and right click. We have right here a fire button. We have the DPI buttons up and down. And I already mentioned what this button does as well. We have the 2 thumb buttons, of course. And that's pretty much it for buttons. On the side, we do have a little bit of rubber right here to keep your finger from slipping around. Nothing really too fancy over here. You know, there's not going to be any rubber here. Not that there should be, honestly. Here we have the pads. And then right here, you'll see a little compartment. And I'll go ahead and try to open it. And when you open it, you can find the USB dongle. You plug this in so that way you can use it wirelessly. And I'll actually keep it out for now because I'll probably plug it in like that to show you. To close it, you just turn it clockwise. And then over here, we have on-off switch, you know, for whether it is stationary off or if you want to turn it on without lights, on with lights. And that will slightly change depending on whether it's wired or not. Here you have a button for changing the color modes. And then right here is where you'd plug it in for charging or if you want to use it wired. And I've used it both wireless and wired, and I love both. I'll explain a little bit more about that a little bit later. And also I forgot to mention the scroll wheel is a button as well. So let's go over all the buttons one more time. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 programmable buttons right there. And again, the driver will definitely help a lot with being able to program this how you want to. And then of course in-game you can program them as well. So keep that in mind. I personally really like the driver. You know, I've reviewed a lot of mice that came with drivers, and some of them are kind of complicated to use or they aren't translated. The driver for this, really well made, really easy to follow. And yeah, honestly, if you want a video for how to use the driver and all that, let me know in the comments below, and I will consider making a video for it. Honestly, I probably will if there is some interest in it. But if there isn't, you know, if people find that it's easy enough to use, then I'll go ahead and skip that little tutorial. But let's go ahead and turn it on. So let me go and lower my light as well, so that way it's a little easier to see the RGB color on this mouse. And I will go ahead and turn it this way so you can see the lighting a little bit better. So you can see it has a really nice lighting effect going around the sides and on the logo. Nothing too fancy on bottom, you know, no lighting obviously down there. But here's a side view of that as well. Let me go ahead and flip it on the other side so you can get a better look at that. Bring it a little closer, in fact, so you can get a good look at it. As you can see on the logo and on this side as well. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and switch between some of the colors so that way you can kind of get an idea of the lighting. So right now we're on a streaming mode, and now I am putting it on respiration. So right now what I've done is I've chosen one color, and it's just gonna keep breathing that one color pretty much. So respiration is pretty much just another way of saying a breathing mode. As you can see, I have it on a blue right now. I'll go ahead and switch the color to like a green so you can get an idea of what the green looks like. And you can really choose any shade that you want. You know, I'm just choosing some of the preset ones just so you can get an idea of what it'll look like. Here's like an orangey red. Here is a more purplish color. And you can change the brightness as I mentioned. So right now it's at max. I'll go and lower it to the lowest. And as you can see, even at the lowest, you can see it pretty well. And I have a lot of light coming on right now. I just have it turned down. I don't think I can turn it down anymore. Yeah, unfortunately I can't turn it down anymore, but that's for the brightness. Let me go ahead and change the speed though. So right now I have it at max speed. So as you can see, it's breathing really quickly. And now it's at the lowest. So now it's going to breathe very, very slowly. As you can see, it's taking quite a while to start the breathing. And let me actually go back to the first streaming one that I had, and let me mess around with the speed a little bit on that as well. So here's the fastest it can go. It might be a little hard to even tell that's changing because it's changing so fast. And then let me go ahead and put that at the lowest. And now we're at the lowest. As you can see, it's changing a lot slower now. And I'm going to go and put it back down real quick. And then you can also put it on a steady color, so it'll just be one color throughout, and it won't do any type of effect. So here I have it at just the purple from earlier. Here's a more yellowish color, and I like how slowly it switches to it as well. And of course, you can change the brightness on this as well to whatever you want it to be. Now I've changed it to more of a whitish yellow. And here's just a blue. I'm just going to show you a couple colors so you can get an idea. I'll just like literally click on any random color that I want on the palette that it has. And there you go. So let me go ahead and switch it back to well, I forgot you can also turn it off, as I've just done here, as you can see. And I'm going to switch it back to streaming actually, because personally I think streaming looks the nicest to me at least. And I'm going to go and show you the DPIs real quick. So you might have noticed the scroll wheel is red. And that actually tells you what DPI level you have it set to. I personally changed mine. I don't remember exactly what the defaults were at the time, but you can change this with the driver. Mine, I keep in like a very tight range. So my red is like my mid range. And you can change what color denotes which one as well, which I think is really nice. So it's really easy for you to tell, you know, maybe if you're one of those people who likes to maybe have a certain color for fast and one for slow, maybe use green for like your highest DPI and red for your lowest, something like that. And sorry, it went offline for a second. So it does, as you can see, turn into like a sleep mode when it's not active for a while, which is good so that we can save some of that power on it. But let's go ahead and press the DPI button. So blue, that's actually my next lowest, and then green is my lowest DPI setting. Then let's go up to there we go, yellow, and then we have orange right here. Might be a little hard to see with the lighting that's coming down from my ring light on it, but yeah, I think that's really nice that you can kind of put a color to the DPI and you can customize it however you want as well. As I've mentioned, you can do a lot with the driver, honestly. You know, right now I'm kind of messing around with the driver as I'm showing you this stuff. Another nice thing about the driver is it actually also tells you the battery life that's left on the mouse itself, which I think is really nice. So that way, if you're about to play a game and you're worried your mouse might die, instead of just putting it straight on charge, you can just check the driver real quick and see how much battery life is left. Because personally, I don't like to charge my devices until they're a little bit closer to dying. But then again, you might be one of those people who wants to use it wired. If you are, then that's not really a factor. You just keep it plugged in at all times and you're good to go. Personally, I think this mouse is perfect for those of you who like to travel as well, because for those of you who do travel, having a mouse that is both wireless and wired, that is so small but weighs so nicely, honestly, I just think it works great. So Now that I've gone over kind of the colors and all that, I'm going to talk a little bit about how it feels to play in some games. So I tried it on Valorant, CSGO, and a little bit on Call of Duty. I think it worked honestly perfectly for all of them. I actually found a slight improvement when I was playing Valorant and CSGO. If you've ever played those games, you know you got to be a little bit more precise. And the mouse I'm currently using is a little bit too light in my hands sometimes. So when I play, I have like kind of a jittery hand, which can be really bad when you're trying to aim for someone's head. You know, sometimes when I just do a quick movement, sometimes my hand shakes a little bit and I just miss. So having a slightly heavier mouse just feels great, you know, and I can adjust the DPI to kind of fix any slow movement that I have. But I just think this mouse is great specifically because of the weight. Love the color scheme on it. I've never had any latency between the mouse and the game, at least nothing that I've noticed. And like I've said, I found it to actually improve my game a little bit more than my current mouse, which is wired. I use this wireless for most of the time because I also don't like using the wire. Wires sometimes get kind of tangled up because I have so many things plugged into my gaming laptop at once. So I think having it wireless is actually a really big pro for me, at least. All right, so let's go into my final pros and cons list. Pros include the very long battery life, adjustable DPI, multiple lighting effects and brightness levels, and the wonderful weight. The only real con I can really see is that the driver might not work for certain devices like Macs. However, I love that it has 9 programmable buttons and that it has such a smooth in-game feeling. Plus the fact that it can work wired or wireless, I just think is a great positive perk for this already awesome mouse. That's it for this video. Link to this product is in the description below. If you found the video helpful, I'd love it if you could leave a like and subscribe. If you have any questions, leave a comment below as well.